What's up, everybody? Tonight, I have a special guest on the podcast, and she is a businesswoman, a motivational speaker, a podcast host, a pastor, and to top it all off, she's also a mother. Tonight, I got Miss Kellie Sweat with me. Y'all give her a warm welcome and welcome her to the podcast.
Hey, I'm excited to be here.
We're excited
Honored
to
to be
have
able to
you.
be here with you.
Yes, we're excited to have you. So, again, you wear a lot of hats, a lot of hats. So, I would like to start with asking you, what made you want to go into ministry and how did you know that was your calling?
So I think I ran away from it for so long,
Mm,
but somehow I came back around. So the biggest thing for me was I found myself often in conversations with people, and I'm like, oh my gosh, why are they telling me? I mean, people I don't even know, just kind of telling me like all of their business, asking for advice. And I'm wondering, like, why are they telling me? And I think one time I had a conversation with God, like, what's going on? Like, why are people sharing these things with me? Why are, certain things happening? And it was like, because, like you are called to be there to support, to help bring resources. Like people are coming to you because even if you want to ignore it, clearly, this is your calling. This is what you're supposed to do. So even if you don't choose it, it's already chosen you.
so you always been that person that people like to call on and tell their problems to. That's pretty dope. So out of all the roles that you do, which one surprised you the most? Was it the pastoring or which one?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. All right. All right.
For
Got it.
sure.
That's
I could say that with full confidence because I did not want to preach. I always said like I would say that I'll teach. I love teaching. I can teach all day. I love it. I enjoy it. I feel good when I do it. But when you start using the word preach or pastor,
mm-hmm.
I was like, oh no, I don't want the title. I fought it so long to the point my pastor was like, well, you're getting the license and you're getting this. And I
Okay.
was like, I
Okay.
don't want it. But I think with it comes a certain level of responsibility. So it was the answer to, okay, you have this responsibility and you have this authority. And I'm like, me? I think many of us ask ourselves, they're like, you talking about me?
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't just about a title, but function in a space where people can trust you to lead them, where people can have a safe space when they talk to you, where you can really be a support and help people grow. Teaching did that. Mothering has done that. But pastoring
Mm-hmm.
has done that in a completely different type of way to connect with people and them to trust you with things that only God could help you with to see them through with that. So I'll
Gotcha.
definitely, yeah, pastor for sure.
Gotcha. Gotcha. And you say you were a teacher. How long did you teach?
Yeah, so I taught for about 5 years in
Okay.
over two different school systems. And I led summer camp for probably like 8 years. I led a summer camp. I was doing it, not even realize like writing curriculum, activities, putting all those things together for like ages from like elementary school up to high school. So again, it was one of those things where you're doing it, you know,
Yeah.
also take on the responsibility and the title that comes with how you're functioning.
Okay. Okay. What grades did you teach?
Sixth grade and seventh grade history.
Okay. How was that? Do you miss teaching?
I do. I miss teaching. I miss the kids. I think one of the biggest things for me is not just like classroom lessons, but the
Mm-hmm.
life lessons that you're able to share, being able to be same thing, showing up for your students when they have things going on at home. At one point in my classroom, I had like a closet that had like personal products and snacks. Cause I think sometimes we take for granted what you have is not accessible to everyone.
Mm-hmm.
I was the teacher that they would send the kids that they might cause trouble in other classes, but they come in my class, no issues whatsoever.
Oh yeah, that's some
So just
blessings.
yeah,
Yeah.
especially for kids that look like us, everybody doesn't know how to really talk to our young Black boys all the time. They don't always get the language and the culture. So being able to be there in that space and provide that support to them, something that was a reward. They did more for me than I feel like I did for them for sure.
Yeah, thank you for that because I got 2 boys and sometimes their head is super hard. They don't wanna
Mm,
listen, and sometimes they're quick to, I guess, disrupt a classroom, but sometimes teachers just need to come at them in a different way. Prime example, like my
absolutely.
son, he had went to one daycare and it was primarily white, and he was really smart, so he was kinda bored with the teachers. They weren't doing a whole lot with him. They just was like play. So he would get bored and sometimes he would act out and they put him out of the school. But really, he went to another school. It was majority us and, or a daycare. We put him in a private school instead of the daycare. And he did perfectly fine. So I agree with you. Sometimes we just need teachers that can come at the situation from a different angle and take the time. So that's a blessing that you was out there doing that. Because if not, our kids will get labeled a certain way. And we don't want that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. They get put in certain classrooms when they're really smart. Like you said, he was smart and
Facts.
bored. He wasn't a
Facts.
troublemaker.
Yeah,
He just was like,
yeah,
I'm done. What's
yeah.
next?
All right, so now let me ask you, again, you do a lot. How do you balance business ambition, because you are a businesswoman too, with your ministry, calling, and motherhood? That's a lot. You're juggling a whole lot right there. How do you balance it?
For sure. I think one of the things that I live by is that things will never be balanced. So
Gotcha.
there are just certain there are
That's the
certain
truth.
times. I mean, like, like you said, you have children, you have businesses, you doing a podcast, you have family, you have all these things.
Yeah.
And there are certain times of the year or certain months, or you have certain days, however you break up your schedule, where, I'm going to go really hard in this area for a certain amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
And then, maybe summer is closer to like I spend more time with my family. So I think for me, I understand that there's like balance just doesn't exist. So I prioritize based on the season or based on what's going on. Like right now, I'm in school to get my PhD.
Okay,
The
okay.
My
Yeah.
family is still priority, like, just to be honest, the
Mm-hmm.
family is still priority, but some of the things that I do, I had to shift. So in my ministry spaces, I've
Mm-hmm.
had to delegate where there were some times where I would be present all day. We gotta stay up all night to put something together. I do it. I don't have that flexibility right now. So I've identified people to delegate certain things to. So I'm not dropping that ball, but I am handing it off to someone who can still get it done and knowing that I still care about this space. So it's still getting done. Then I have set days like this is a homework day, this is a reading day. Saturdays or Sundays are for me and my daughter. So I have to like be intentional about where I'm setting the time and then even intentional about what's on the table right now. So if something in business can be automated, it's automated.
Hmm.
And my
Hmm.
hands are off it. If, something in ministry can be delegated, I'm delegating it. I'm going real hard in school and as a mother right now in other spaces, I'm delegating. But and if over the summer when I get a break from school, that might flip flop where I'm going real
Mm-hmm.
hard in ministry so that I can lay down a foundation and I can hand it off to someone who can continue to do the work when I might not be able to be physically present, but the vision can still go forward.
Got you. Got you. And you say you got a daughter. How old is your daughter?
She is 13. We are in our teenage years now.
Ooh. 13. Yeah. Well, at least she doesn't. Well, that's when you start letting them go a little further, right? Get them a little space of their own. So my kids, oh man, 6 and 3, he about to be 4. 6 and 4. They need me for
Wow.
everything. Everything. So I feel like certain days I'm living for them, which is good. It's
Yeah.
good to pour back into your kids and see, your kids do things that maybe you couldn't do because we're a lot more fortunate than, you know, I was coming up or we were coming up. So they get to do a whole lot. I'm talking about activities, karate, soccer, all types of things. So yeah, I agree. I understand that. Sometimes you gotta juggle with that balance and then make sure you put family first, like you said. But you gotta be intentional. Definitely gotta be
Yeah.
intentional. All
Yeah.
right. Okay. So have you ever doubted your purpose? Like I know you're doing ministry. Have you ever doubted that maybe this ain't for me, or you had a challenge and said, I'm not sure if this is what I should be doing? And if so, what pulled you through?
I have definitely I think I have doubted it multiple times over time. So I think one of the biggest moments have been even just operating in a male dominated field, cuz
Mm-hmm.
ministry for the most when you think of most people when they think about pastors, when they think about preachers, they immediately picture a male, right? And then
Yeah.
being younger, right? Cuz
Yeah.
people like, "Who's your
Yeah.
What's his name?" You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. You're right. You're right. You're right.
So I think that has been a hurdle, and just being completely transparent, seeing other people when I know, and this is not coming from a cocky place at all, but when I know my resume and then
Mm,
I see men get put into places and I know what their resume looks like,
mm,
and I'm
mm-hmm.
like, "Okay, how does" it can be very frustrating being younger. I've previously worked as a hospice chaplain as well. So being able to provide pastoral care in that way and walking into spaces with people who didn't look like me, or me being a younger Black woman and people asking me if I was a CNA or if I was this and that, and, coming here to provide spiritual support and getting knocked down at the same time. I think
Mm,
many instances like that caused me to question, like, look, it was, I think, more than being questioning myself, it was more frustrating. Like, I'm just trying to do what I was called to do, and it feels like everywhere I turn, there's some kind of roadblock, or there's something against me, or it's people that don't. It's hard to find support
mm-hmm.
because people think you have to be a certain age or you have to look a certain way,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to have this or that, and they don't even, and it's not all about accolades or education, but they question your education and they question your experience, and they have no idea, how much work and education and things that you do have, because they look at you on the outside and make assumptions because of how you dress or because how you wear your hair, whatever
Mm-hmm.
people do to make assumptions, they do it. So I think some of my hardest moments have just been being in spaces and probably having imposter syndrome because I don't look like this person.
Mm.
No matter what my resume could clear everybody, but because I didn't look a certain way or because I wasn't the right gender, doors were closed. So that I've had a lot of moments of going back to God, like, why you call me to do this when it
Mm-hmm.
feels like everything is against me?
Okay. Okay. So God got you through. Going back to Him, that's your safe spot.
Yeah, definitely. And just and having, I think, and I was talking to my daughter about this earlier as well, having support around you, like having the right friends, you have to, like, I believe in mentors, having the right mentors, having the right support systems, people that's gonna remind you of who you are. Like, you may have experienced this and that, but you gotta have people that's in your corner, like, "Girl, you can do this, you've been called to do this." Even running down your track record, like, "You've done this, this, and that." Like, you can't let this stop you now. You need good people in your corner that's gonna support you, and even when you forget who you are sometimes, they remind you of who you are.
Gotcha. A support system. Gotcha. I like that.
For sure.
Oftentimes we don't have that type of support system, especially when you're doing something out of the norm, doing something different. As you said, you in a male dominated field. So I love that you saying having a great support system helps.
For sure. I don't know if I would make it without them.
So you would say you are walking in your purpose, correct?
Yes, for sure.
So, what is the biggest misconception about people trying to find their purpose? A lot of people don't know their purpose. They don't know what they're called to do. What advice would you give to them on finding their purpose?
I think it's a couple things. One thing is it's okay to explore different avenues to find yourself, find your purpose. You don't have to lock into what someone else did or how someone else is telling you, because everybody's journey is different. So the way
Mm,
that you found your purpose may not be the same steps that I follow because we're different people. And I think the other thing is, one thing that rings in my head all the time is a quote by Dr. Katie Cannon, where she says, "Do the work your soul must have." So it's like often identifying what is it that, like, you don't like to see or that really hurts you or pulls at your heartstrings or if it was something that you could solve, what would it be? And those things that often irritate us and pull on us or hurt our feelings or make us frustrated are the things that they're the problems that we're called to solve. So if it's something that's like burning in your soul or you're like super passionate about it, more than likely that's your purpose or it's at least connected to your purpose.
Mhm.
And I think the other part of that too is purpose can look different in different parts of your life. So when I was teaching, I was still living out my purpose because I was providing education and I was providing a safe space for my students. When I was a chaplain, I was still providing spiritual support and pastoral care outside of the four walls of the church, in nursing homes, in homes for hospice patients that were dying that needed that safe space to talk, to work through their spirituality, their questioning God, whatever it was. With the vent, it's a safe harbor for people to come to. Like, you may have religious trauma, you may have some grief there, you may have some things that you're questioning, but this is a safe space for you to be in and get some solid information and make your decision from there. As a mother, I try to my best to provide a safe space for my daughter. She'll text me like, "Mom, guess what?" Or "Here go the tea," because my thing is like, I want you to know that if any kind of service that I'm providing, any kind of friendship I'm providing, any kind of pastoral care I'm providing, it's a safe space to just show up completely as you. And we can work through all the other stuff. But at the end of the day, I know that I'm called to provide safe spaces for people who may be struggling with purpose, struggling with their spirituality, with their faith, struggling with who they might think they are. Like, I've been called to provide that
Mhm.
safe space for you to work through that without judgment. So it has looked different in different parts of my life, but the call has been consistent. The purpose have been consistent, even if the way that I do it hasn't been the same because I've been in ministry areas and in the private sector and in the school system. So it has looked different, but it's the same purpose. So don't let anybody box you into what it should look like.
I love it. I love it. It sounds like you have been living in your purpose, but you had to constantly evolve. So,
For
how
sure.
did you know when it was time to evolve? Like, as a teacher, or how did you know, okay, I need to take this a step further? Like, what is the sign, or what are the signs that it's time to level up? It's time to evolve and go to the next stage.
I think one of the biggest things, at least personally for me, one of the biggest things was feeling, in all honesty, I know we don't operate, I try not to operate off of emotion, but one of the biggest things is feeling like I literally had a feeling like, okay, this is time. Like,
Mhm.
it's time to go.
Mhm. Mhm.
um and I guess on a more practical side, at least with the school system, things were changing. It was political, things outside of the classroom that had nothing to do with the kids, to the point where I couldn't function like I really needed to. And I do
Mhm.
believe in some moments you do have to ride that out. But there was something in me that knew, like, hey, it's time for you to go now. Like, you serve your purpose in this area. It's time to move on to the next thing. As a chaplain, same thing. I got to the point where it was pulling me too far away from family time, from taking care of myself, from doing some things that I really needed to do. So I think you'll start seeing signs of, okay, this is not prosperous from a point of mental health, from a
Mhm.
point of, schedule, like everything will start conflicting. Like, it'll start being practical things where things aren't lining up like they used to. It's causing more issues than doing more good. And it's like, okay, now this is time for you to exit because now maybe it's time for somebody else to be in this space and it's time for you to kind of transition to somewhere else.
Okay. So we're talking about evolving and when it's times. So if everything went your way in the future, with the vent, you're calling to ministry, where do you see yourself ending? Let's start with the vent. So what is, if the vent hit all the numbers, what do you see happening with the vent?
I definitely want the vets to have like hubs.
Mm-hmm.
So we have traveled and built community like in Atlanta. We're
Mm-hmm.
based here in Suffolk, but we have traveled and been in Atlanta. We made some connections in Chicago and in other areas. So I definitely would want to have like different hubs of the event where I might not have to be there physically, but the vision of the event is there. So the safe space, the community, the spiritual formation. So growing that across the country and as well as just really going like global with it, where people have that safe space in their hubs and then we're able to all come together at some point during the year where we have like a global meetup almost where we can all come together and join as a community. So that's what I would love to see for the event. Our online presence definitely growing, but being able to touch people where they are as well.
That'd be dope. And anybody watching this, make sure you guys go check out the event, subscribe to her on YouTube. And again, she on Instagram too, right?
Yep, yep. The event live on everything, Instagram, Facebook, and Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. I'm like, what's the
Yeah,
other platform?
yeah, yeah. Make sure y'all go check it
Instagram,
out. I
YouTube, the event live. Yeah.
do like the event. Again, she brings up a lot of good topics and it's just a chill spot. So make sure y'all check that out. Now
Yeah.
we talked about the event. So with your ministry, what or pastoring, where you see that going to or ending up if everything hit its mark?
Yeah, I think similar to the vent, just being able to reach more people, especially with the climate that we're in, whether it be politically, the things that people are struggling with as far as mental health and just having
Mm-hmm.
the physical, like food on the table. So with ministry, just being able to impact people. I'm originally from Franklin. So even being
Shout out
able to do
Franklin.
something, yeah, guys, shout out to Franklin. Being able to impact people in a very practical way. We've done things in Franklin with my nonprofit where we gave away laundry detergent and food and, we had a job fair. So being able to provide those resources on a larger scale. Because for me, ministry, a lot of times people think about ministry, think about church, but
Mm-hmm.
ministry is really meeting people's needs, like the
Yeah.
whole person, mental, physical, spiritual. So I want to be able to provide those resources on a larger scale for sure.
Okay. Another question. The event. You sometimes have guests on the event, right?
Yep.
Who would be your dream guest? Your dream guest to be on the event?
Dream guest. That's a good
Yeah.
question.
Your dream guest.
Let me see. My dream guest would probably be I love Trisha Hersey. She's the Nap Bishop.
Okay.
I love her. So probably between her and she really talks about like just completely going against everything that America stands for as far as like hustle culture.
Mm-hmm.
And, like I love that because I think that's healthy for us as Black people.
Yeah.
So my dream guest would be between Trisha Hersey and Renita Weems. Renita
Okay.
Weems is a womanist theologian, and I just love the way her brain operates. Like I would love to pick her brain for sure.
Okay. Okay. Good picks. Now we getting into fun questions now. Again, you got a lot on your plate. You're doing a lot. What is your favorite way to unwind after a crazy week? What does chilling or unwinding look like for you?
Definitely being near some water. I love the water. It's calming for me. It's peaceful for me. When it's warm outside, I go to the beach. Like I can go to the beach every day. As long as I'm near some type of water and I can hear the water, like the waves, I do that. That and like some good seafood. Like that will make my day, my week, my month, every single
Okay,
time.
okay, okay. Another question. Guilty pleasure TV show. So, do you watch TV more or podcast?
Broad podcasts for sure.
Okay, podcast
Yeah.
culture is on the rise for sure. Everybody got a podcast. Your favorite person, more than likely, they got a podcast out there.
Hmm.
So I
Hmm.
agree. And if you could have one superpower for a day, what would it be?
A superpower for a day.
Yeah, just for a day.
I think I would want the ability to like heal people. Like, whether it be
Okay,
physical, mental,
that's dope.
emotional, I
Yeah,
would wanna,
yeah.
like, just be able to be like,
Okay, yeah,
"You
that would be
good."
dope. Go into the hospital and the where everybody got cancer or heart problem, just heal everybody. That would be
Yep.
dope.
Just touch
Dang,
them
that's a
and
good
they're, like,
answer.
good to go.
Yeah, I like that answer. That was a great answer there. So, back talking about purpose. What is one thing that someone watching can do today to move towards their purpose?
I think that question definitely goes back to like doing the work. When you think about the work your soul must have, the work that you just have to do, the things that keep you up at night, the thing that keeps you going when you wake up in the morning, identifying that and then getting the big picture, but then breaking it down into steps. So the first step for me is identifying, okay, what
Mhm,
do I think my purpose is? And then how do I break that down? So what small thing can I do today to work towards it? Which may be as simple as scheduling, just some free time in your day to just do a brain dump or scheduling some time to connect with someone who's doing something similar to what you want to do. So I think identifying it and then breaking it down because your purpose is always going to be too big for you to like you can't do it tomorrow, right?
mhm, mhm,
So it is
mhm.
breaking it down to, okay, what does that look like today? Does that look like scheduling an appointment? Does that look like a brain dump where I can see who I can connect with? Or does that look like me creating some kind of plan? Like on Monday, I'm gonna do this. On Tuesday, I'll do this. So you break it up into chunks so you don't feel overwhelmed.
Okay, okay. I like it. So, where can people I ain't gonna say so. Where can people connect with you and find the event? I know we sprinkled it in there, but give them the official where to find you and what else do you have going on in case you want the people to know.
Yeah. So they can find us at theventmovement.life.
Mhm,
We're also on Instagram at The Vent Live. Our handle across social media, YouTube, whether it be YouTube or Instagram, is at The Vent Live. My personal page is ms_sweat. I'm on Instagram as well. So that's kind of where we connect social media online as well as we have a couple things coming up. So we'll be back live. We took a summer hiatus, so we'll be back live the first Tuesday in November through the end through 2026, our seventh season of the Vent Live. And in December, if you're in the Hampton Roads area, we usually do a bonfire, like a fireside
mm,
chat where you
mhm.
can come, we talk, we do a little closeout activity to launch us from this year into the next year. So we do charcuterie boards, we do s'mores, and it's just a good time, but it's also a time of empowerment. So we do that. That'll be coming up the second weekend in December. But that'll be posted on our socials as well if you want to register for that and come out. But our community is open to whoever. So whether you want to join us on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube, it's a interactive conversation. It could be anything from relationships to grief to just anything education, anything you can think of, just a safe space to have those conversations that you may not be able to have anywhere else. So I'm excited to connect.
Okay, you guys make sure y'all check her out across the vent and everywhere else that she just listed. Make sure y'all go show some love. Thank you, Kelly, for coming on, and we appreciate your wisdom and all the knowledge that you dropped with us today. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much. It was an honor to be up here with you, and hopefully we can connect again soon.
Oh yeah, no doubt, no doubt. So appreciate you, and I appreciate you guys for checking us out. Again, make sure you guys follow Miss Kellie Sweat across her socials, and make sure you like and subscribe this video too. All right, see y'all next time. Peace.
Bye.